Hello and welcome to another KT Explainer video. Now we're all well and truly into the 2019 Cricket World Cup and most of the fans have been glued to the screens. We've had a fair few incidents and a few eyebrow-raising moments in this World Cup, and that's what happens when it comes to the crunch time. The team waits 4 years for this global moment, and things do get a bit heated when it all boils down to the valuable points for your survival in the tournament. Only one team remains standing to eventually lift that crown. In this video, we will look back at some of the on- and off-field dramas that have dominated the headlines during the Cricket World Cup. So here are some of our top picks. Let's go back in 1975, the first World Cup. In sharp contrast to today's high-scoring matches and smashing the ball out of the park, in the very first game of the tournament, Indian legend Sunil Gavaskar scored a grand total of 36 runs off 174 balls in India's run chase of 335 runs in the allotted 60 overs. You can say that ODI was a very new format back then. Still, even by test match standards, it was very disappointing. Up next, we have the 1992 Cricket World Cup. It was the first time we had the coloured kits featuring in the tournament, and also the first time we had the rain rule, which ended up being pretty hard on South Africa in the semi-final clash against England. As per the rule, the rain affected matches in which the overs had to be adjusted. The least productive overs from the side who batted first would be discounted. England scored 252 for 6 in 45 overs, and since South Africa bowled their overs very slowly, the innings was shortened. In the chase, South Africa started off well and brought the target down to 22 runs needed from 13 balls before it was stopped due to heavy rain. Since time was lost in the break, the least productive overs for the side batting first was deducted without reducing the target. It was wrongfully announced that 1 over would be deducted, and it turned out that 2 overs were deducted and only 1 ball remained for South Africa to unsuccessfully score 20 runs off the final delivery. This rain rule was then scrapped for the current Duckworth-Lewis method. Now let's move on to the 1996, the year Sri Lanka lifted the title. In that tournament, the Lankans earned a number of points due to situations off the field. Australia and West Indies chose to forfeit their matches versus Sri Lanka as they refused to travel to the island nation on security grounds. The victories were handed over to Sri Lanka. In the semi-final encounter against India, riots broke out in the Eden Gardens in response to India's poor chase. Sri Lanka were awarded that game after the crowd had set fire in the stands and threw bottles onto the pitch. We can say one of the most dramatic incidents happened during the 1999 World Cup semi-final, which ended as a tie. South Africa just needed a run with 4 balls to spare to seal a place in the final. The all-rounder Lance Klusener, who guided the team to a safe position, struck the ball towards mid-off and set off for the run. His partner, Alan Donald, did not hear his call and instead turned his back before realising that both batsmen were stuck at the non-striker's end. That gave enough time for the Australians to throw the ball at the striker's end to run them out and find a place in the final thanks to the better strike rate in the group stages. In 2007, we had a very dark World Cup final. Sri Lanka faced off against the Aussies at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados. Due to the rains, the game was already limited to 38 overs for each side, and Australia had posted a target of 282. During the Lankan chase towards the end, the arena's floodlights stopped working properly, which led to the last 3 overs to play out in full darkness. Eventually, Sri Lanka lost by 53 runs. In 2007, we also had a very tragic incident which resulted in the death of Pakistan's coach Bob Woolmer. The morning after a Pakistan versus Ireland group match, Bob Woolmer, the coach of Pakistani cricket team, was found dead on 18 March 2007 in his hotel room. 4 days later, Jamaican police announced confirmation that a murder investigation had been launched based on a pathologist's report. This was a sad moment for the entire sporting world and the worst memory for the International Cricket World Cup. In 2015, we had a bit of a DRS drama. During a group stage game against Australia, England's James Taylor was given out LBW by umpire Alim Dar. Following a review by batsmen, the decision was reversed. However, before the umpire's finger could go up to signify the dismissal, Taylor and co-batsman James Anderson had already gone for a quick run between the wickets. During this run, Anderson was dismissed by Australia's Glenn Maxwell with a run-out. So even though Taylor's dismissal was reversed, Anderson's run-out was still considered, as the umpires decided that the ball was not yet dead when the run-out took place. Well, those were our top picks from the World Cups that have gone by. For extensive coverage on the tournament, you can log on to khaleejtimes.com. It's goodbye for now.